Number of the day with Bongani.
Yes, indeed, Francis. Let it not be said you and I are prophets of doom with bad news all the time, doom and
Sometimes
gloom.
we are.
Sometimes we are, but not today, because finally a spot of better news bobbing in a sea of what has generally been poor economic data. A gauge of business conditions in the private sector improved in June, but the Standard Bank Purchasing Managers Index edged to our number of the day, and here it is. 50.9. It's a positive number. That's, of course, that Standard Bank Managers Index edging to 50.9 in June from 50 in May. The improvement is attributed to improved new business and better job creation. Any figure greater than 50 indicates overall improvement in the conditions. While the number is slightly better, there are still signs that the private sector, of course, is struggling, and there's been a drop in the optimism that first emerged from the political changes we saw in December. The new business orders were mostly from the domestic market as exports continued to decline. Now, Eskom says it is working on a corporate plan for the utility due to be completed by the end of September. Eskom has added that it's noted with concern recent media reports which they say incorrectly suggest the company plans to restructure or extend its debt. It also says so far there's been no talk by management or the board for retrenchments at the power utility.
Between 2007 and 2017, the power utilities headcount grew from roughly 33,000 to 48,000. This was in part due to the construction of new power plants. Reports from the World Bank and the National Energy Regulator of South Africa are among those who have pointed to the utilities' bloated wage bill as a threat to its sustainability. Spokesperson Khulupasiwe says the board and the management have not discussed the retrenchment issue.
What we have seen over the last, say, 2 or 3 years at least, is that Eskom has been losing on average about 4% of its workforce because of natural attrition. So a natural attrition obviously is different from retrenchments. So a lot of people, or some people at least, are leaving Eskom because they see other opportunities outside of Eskom. Others retire because of old age. Others resign or get fired for various offenses and things like that. So those things are different from an effective retrenchment. So that's where we are. The numbers are going to shrink, but it will mostly be through natural attrition.
Pasiwe says there has been an improvement at the utility, but the company is not yet out of the woods.
Between July of 2017 and mid-January this year, none of the lenders were willing to have any discussions with Eskom about lending any money to us. But with the new board and the new management that we currently have, we are now beginning to see some of these companies beginning to warm up to Eskom.
So where will Eskom get the 6.2% wage increase tabled to unions?
The money that we are going to use to meet the demands of the unions will come from the cost reductions that we're going to do within the company. So management has already indicated that in terms of our capital investment program for Medupi and Kusile in particular, we're going to be cutting on average about 10 billion rand per annum over the next 5 years. So it will be 50 billion rand cost cutting. That's on a capital investment side, but also at an operational level, we also are planning to cut off another 50 billion rand, 10 billion rand per annum over the next 5 years. So some of those savings will be passed through to the unions or members so that we can meet their demands.
The utility plans to raise 72 billion rand this year for its funding requirement. It has been able to raise over 14 billion rand of that, including a 1.3 billion rand loan signed with the German Development Bank just last week. While the financial fortunes of Eskom seem to be improving, analysts have cautioned against its excessive debt.
Eskom's debt levels are very high, which is why even government itself has indicated that it's very important for Eskom to remain stable, because if Eskom goes under, it's going to create a lot of problems for South Africa.
Eskom and the unions are due to meet again on Friday. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.